Before explaining the differences between our embedded course and the IoT course, let me explain about IoT architecture. Please note, this is going to be an explainer video. It's going to take some time. Request you to watch till the end to get a complete view. To start with, the Internet of Things or IoT is a broad paradigm which tries to connect and integrate everything using the Internet. Architecturally, it consists of 5 components: IoT Device, IoT Gateway, Network, IoT Cloud Platform, and finally the application. Let me give you a very simple use case and explain how these 5 components work together. Let us take an example of smart car parking system. When you drive in your car into the parking lot, the tiny IoT device mounted in the bay detects the motion change that is happening due to your car movement. This tiny IoT device, which is having this sensor, will eventually use a short range and low power protocols like Bluetooth to exchange the information to the next level of device called IoT Gateway. The IoT Gateway is nothing but a computing device or an embedded system which is having more computational resources. At a particular point in time, a single IoT gateway will be connected to multiple IoT devices. Now, the IoT gateway will further communicate the data with the IoT Cloud Platform using the TCP/IP based Internet. It primarily uses protocols like MQTT, which is lightweight, and a publish-subscribe based mechanism in order to exchange the data. Similar to MQTT, there are many other protocols available, namely COAP or HTTP, which can be used for this particular purpose. As you can see, the component 3, that is network, coming into picture here. The IoT Cloud Platform, upon receiving large amount of data from multiple IoT gateways, eventually ends up processing them by using, say, machine learning algorithm. After processing the data, it has to be represented to the user so that it can give meaningful insights to the user. In case of our smart parking system, it can be a very simple information about a parking lot availability and the number of parking lots occupied with the help of a simple web UI. Hope we are able to see how these 5 components are coming together to give an end-to-end user experience. Now, let us talk about how do we develop such solution. As you can already see, in these 5 components, different technologies need to come together to give an end-to-end seamless user experience. For example, let us talk about IoT device. It is an embedded system which has got a microcontroller which is programmed and has got additional components like sensors, actuators, and many other interfaces to make the functionality happen. Similarly, for the IoT gateway, an edge computing application need to be developed on an OS-based environment, say an embedded Linux-based OS. Moving further to the IoT platform, it will have a scalable application running which is built using web services, distributed computing, business intelligence, and many more similar technologies. In the similar lines, the network and the applications will have its own technologies to build this end-to-end solution. If you holistically look at this end-to-end solution, the embedded system is part of the overall IoT solution. Primarily, the IoT device and the IoT gateway are programmed using the embedded system based technologies. Hope you are able to see the difference between the IoT and the embedded systems. We can even call this as embedded IoT, which is part of the overall end-to-end IoT solution. Now, let me explain the differences between our embedded systems course and our embedded IoT course. Emertxe's Embedded Systems course primarily focuses on building core embedded system device which may or may not be part of an IoT solution. For example, a simple temperature sensing device is an example of an independent embedded system which you will be learning in our Embedded Systems course. Hence, it focuses on core embedded system technologies like C and C++ programming, microcontroller programming, Linux internals and networking, embedded Linux on ARM, and building elegant UI using a framework called Qt. As you can see, this particular embedded device may or may not be part of an IoT solution. Added to that, you will get an in-depth understanding about bare metal programming using microcontrollers. Here, you learn about microcontroller architecture, reading the data sheets, programming the hardware, and also doing interfacing. On the other hand, Emertxe's Embedded IoT course still focuses on the embedded systems. However, it gives you exposure to building a complete IoT solution. In the embedded side, we give in-depth coverage in terms of programming an IoT Gateway using a Raspberry Pi platform using the Python programming language. In the similar lines, you will be programming an IoT device using an Arduino platform with C as the programming language. Added to that, you will be getting exposure to various IoT protocols like MQTT so that you build a networking perspective. And finally, when it comes to IoT Cloud Platforms, this course will expose you to various IoT platforms built by popular players like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and of course open source to give you a variety of exposure. And finally, this course also covers about IoT foundations like IoT architecture, security, scalability, and IoT workflow setup. In summary, I would say this course will enable you to build an end-to-end IoT solution. Let me summarize in 4 points. Number 1, IoT is a broad paradigm which is about making multiple technologies work together. In this overall solution, embedded system technologies are required to build the IoT device and the IoT gateway. Emertxe's Embedded IoT course gives you a practical, hands-on perspective in order to build these two components. Along with that, it will give you the skills to integrate the embedded side with the overall end-to-end IoT solution. On the other hand, our embedded system course is about giving you hands-on perspective to build an independent embedded device. It will give you more lower level hardware abstraction details from an electronics perspective. Hope this is clear. In case if you have further questions, please feel free to leave in the comment box below. We'll be glad to answer your queries. Thank you.